We have Mandi Remington, and Mandi is a candidate for Johnson County Supervisor. It is an at-large position, and Mandi was a previous candidate that the coalition endorsed last fall. I'd just like to mention that Mandi is also a member of the coalition, and she actually has a lot of endorsers from Johnson County who are also members of our coalition. So we do appreciate that. And Mandi, we're going to give you about 6 minutes to talk about yourself. Then Patrick will ask you 2 or 3 questions, whatever time permits. After you talk about yourself, your campaign, and the issues that you're running on. So the floor is yours, Mandi.
Thank you, and thank you for giving me some time tonight. My name is Mandi Remington. As Mitch said, I'm a candidate for Johnson County Board of Supervisors. I spent about my first 14 years living between Southern California and Japan, and then I moved to Johnson County at 14, and I've lived here ever since. And I have experienced things in ways that a lot of members of our community have that most of our representatives have not. And I think that that's a very important voice to bring to the table. I am an only parent. I am a public employee at the University of Iowa, public union employee. I am raising 3 children on 1 income, which is not easy in Iowa. And I also have children with uteruses. I have trans children. So I'm personally affected by a lot of what is happening in our state and very motivated to do what I can to fix that at a local level. So my campaign is focused largely on my top 3 priorities, which are to improve access to basic needs in our community, which is affordable housing, food, childcare, transportation, and to improve the accessibility of our civic system and the ability to engage with it. So ability to go to meetings. Johnson County is really good about providing virtual opportunities for those, but I would like to see that offered for all of the cities in the county as well. And that is something that I've personally worked on the Community Police Review Board here in Iowa City, on which I am finishing a 4-year term. That term will be up in June, so right about when the primary election is. And also to improve partnerships with organizations that are already doing critical work in our county. And as the founder and director of Corridor Community Action Network, I have established relationships with the major organizations serving our county over the last 5 years. So I'm uniquely positioned to work with those people, as I already have very good, strong working relationships with them. Don't think I need the full 6 minutes, but thank you.
No, that's okay. That's okay, Mandi. So we're going to give the floor to Patrick. And again, Patrick's the chair of our election endorsement committee. Patrick will ask you 2 or 3 questions, whatever time permits. And so, Patrick, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mitch. And thank you, Mandi, for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
So you were given a questionnaire, as you know, that you responded to. So question 1 of the workers' rights section asked if you support or oppose paying public workers, including seasonal, a living wage of at least $20 an hour. We called it a living wage. In your answer, you stated that it's our responsibility to ensure that we provide a living wage to those who work for our communities. Then we are pleased that you went on to state that we should be providing a thriving wage, which we understand to mean something beyond simply a living wage, something they can actually thrive on. So, however, you did not put a specific number to this thriving wage. So since our question tied $20 to a living wage, what specifically would you consider to be the minimum thriving wage we should be shooting for, and how did you come to that figure?
That would be something that I would engage county staff in determining for our specific county on an individual level. So it's not going to be the same throughout the state.
Okay, so you don't want to toss out something. Is it at least $20 an hour? Is it what we consider?
I would say that I would say that at $22 an hour, supporting a family, I am not making a thriving wage.
Okay. Is that a living wage, $22 an hour, in your opinion?
Barely.
Barely.
Barely. I'm in that position right now where I make just too much for assistance, but it's just still not, it's not quite enough. We're out of milk and fresh fruit at the end of the month.
Okay, so you would suggest that we rephrase our question to 22 plus an hour as a living wage, maybe?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. Next question. So this one is not tied to the questionnaire. This one is about recent history. So in November, you came up short in your bid for Iowa City at-large city council as a progressive in a progressive city. So now the geographic area in your current race for Board of Supervisors of Johnson County expands to include more rural, i.e. less progressive areas. So please tell us what you'll be doing differently to not only win over those in Iowa City this time around, but to also win the rural vote.
Absolutely. So in my city council campaign, I was outspent by 400% and I lost by 9%. So the money was a big factor in that election. I have already, this campaign has raised about as much money as my city council campaign did the entire campaign. I had a lot of people, I am finding out retrospectively, that started paying attention to my campaign kind of at the very tail end. We have done some rebranding that was recommended of our logo. And also, I have gotten a lot of feedback that a lot of people in the rural communities feel that most of our seated supervisors kind of neglect those areas. So I have been actively working on scheduling coffee chats and house parties and events and things in those rural communities so that I can make sure that I'm engaging with those folks and letting them know that everybody is part of Johnson County. And, you know, when I talk about increasing access to basic needs and increasing the accessibility of our civic system, that is because it is important to me that everybody has an equitable opportunity to thrive and to be involved in our community decisions. And so that obviously includes folks in those rural areas as well.
Can I make a sidebar real quick, Patrick? I just wanted to say, unfortunately, during the city council election, Mandi was not able to take our recommended donation that we give to most, if not almost all candidates, because Iowa City has limits on the amount of they receive from groups, even us since we're not even a super PAC, we're just a state PAC. So she was limited, where other candidates, I think, had their own network or wealth to invest, where Mandi was not able to. And the second thing, I think you only have one county supervisor, and that would be John Green, who actually lives in the rural areas. Would that be correct? Just John?
Correct.
And John, who candidate we endorsed a couple years ago, our coalition.
John is endorsing me, and he will be hosting a house party for me at his house in Lone Tree as well.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you now. Amongst other endorsers, I heard like Eleanor and,
Yes.
and other folks. I'm sorry, Patrick. Usually I don't do that. Just
No, that's fine. Thank you for providing that important context, Mitch. Directly related to this question, in fact. So really the final question that we have, and we have a few minutes for it, so take your time, is just give us your final pitch on why you should get the Iowa Unity Coalition's endorsement. Mitch, how much time do we have for this?
You have approximately 4.5 minutes.
4.5 minutes.
Okay. Absolutely. I have proven for the last 5 years that I will do the work with any party, any group, any organization, coalition, individual that I need to engage with to do what community work needs to be done. I've proven that I will do that around a full-time job schedule. So given the opportunity to do that as my full-time job, I'm really excited to see what I'm able to get done, given what I have done in the limited timeframes that I have had. I have taken full advantage of all of the training opportunities available to me as a University of Iowa employee over the last 17 years. So I have had formal training in conflict negotiations, in de-escalation, in process improvement, in every aspect of DEI training that is offered by the university. I have a University of Iowa Leadership and Diversity Certificate. I was actually just nominated for a University Diversity Leadership Award. And I have the lived experience that a lot of folks in our community can relate to in ways that they cannot relate to seated supervisors, and in ways that seated supervisors can only intellectually understand things to a point. You know, when we have not experienced something in our own lives, we can understand that it might be hard, but that's different than really having a grasp what the day-to-day of that looks like. And that is something that I can offer Johnson County. And I just really want the opportunity to do that work for my community. And I believe that your endorsement will go a long way to helping make that happen. I've also shown that I'm willing to work for this community at every level of government. I, this last October, attended the Move On 25th Anniversary Summit in Atlanta, Georgia, and did training with other grassroots leaders from around the country on a scholarship that they provided to me. I go to Des Moines regularly during the legislative session. I will be there on Thursday. Actually, I've already been up there 3 times this year so far. And I have signed on to several pieces of national legislation and made comments both through my org and individually. So I am, again, I'm ready to do this work, and I would appreciate your support in getting there.